Hello, hello. Really excited to be here with you. I am here with Natalie McFarlane from Launch Legacy and Patrick Reed. Natalie, it's so exciting to have you here today.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Natalie, I know you and I have been on this journey, right? Creating and building this framework in the last couple of weeks, right? Couple of months, really. And share with me, what's been your experience so far?
Well, um, my experience has been a lot of things. Overall, it's been extremely positive, extremely hopeful, and extremely exciting, actually. So I have to say, it's been intense, in terms of just there's so many different dynamic moving parts of this really well-built, robust framework that is SLS. But the intensity was like just lightened because of people like you. I would not be able to actually be able to leverage and experience the excitement and the anticipation had it not been for your support, frankly, because as wonderful as the materials, the training materials, the videos that we consumed, the templates that helped us to put together our sort of our communications, etc. It was those weekly one-on-ones to help keep the momentum that were essential, and then even to help deal with just technical challenges that came along the way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a really positive experience because of everything I've
Amazing, amazing.
are.
And Ellie, tell me, I know that you and Patrick were looking for options in terms of lead generation, right? And you guys have tried many different things. So tell me a little bit about that and what led you to choose to do SLS framework.
Well, it's funny. Maybe I'll start with the last question first. So I was scrolling through IG. We tend to, I tend to kind
Really?
of in my days when the kids are gone to sleep and I can actually have some me time and I'll go through Instagram. And
Okay.
Instagram, in its great way that it does, I don't know if it overheard us talking about the need to strategize on the business development or what, but I was scrolling through and some stories and an ad popped up, an ad
Mm.
whereby it was just, are you a financial services professional, insurance agent, or something along those lines? Either way, it fell within the realm of Launch Legacy, which is a niche insurance brand that we decided to kind of tailor down in terms of niche to focus on business owners a year ago or so. That said, there hadn't been any real strategy in terms of just development of business and leads. So we actually started to, in the spring of this year, we started to see if we can hire someone to do sort of outbound sales and lead generation and marketing. And after about literally 2 months of active recruiting and people who submitted their applications, but then they never really came through in the end. And
Mm.
then I think at the end of June or somewhere in the beginning of the summer, I was scrolling through IG, saw the ad pop up, signed up, got some information, had the calls. I think it took us a while to get on a call to get, more information about what it was all about. Then, we heard the price and we thought, oh my God. We're like, oh my gosh, it sounds really good. It sounds like really tailored. The guarantee, of course, was really what was the most compelling, frankly.
Mm.
But it felt like a huge, unexpected, unanticipated investment that we had to think about. And so I remember we had a deadline. I think that there was some kind of promotion going on,
Yeah.
and we didn't think it was going to be possible. But then, literally, I felt like, okay, I feel like there's a deadline looming. It's summertime now. The schedules aren't not as hectic. Maybe we should kind of reschedule a meeting and see what that was about, what the deadline is, and see how much time we have left to make our decision. When we reached back out to, I don't remember the name of the gentleman right now, but
Allie. Hmm.
Ali. He said, "Yeah, the deadline is. I think it was like in 2 days, or it was like." And we're like, "Oh, okay. We don't have much time left to think about it, but we heard what we heard. We haven't seen anything of this nature before. It seemed really
Mm.
lined up with what we're looking to do, and after 2 months of trying to recruit people unsuccessfully, we don't want to have to go through another season, another year or two of these kinds of challenges. Let's just bite the bullet and see what can happen."
I love
And so
it.
that's what we did. That's what we
And
did.
you know,
And
this
so,
is This is gonna be
Hmm.
really cool for people like who are watching this and who are like, oh my God, should I do this? Should I not? Because I know like it can be scary, but I also know like for me, what's on the other side. Whenever I talk to someone, it's like, hey, this is not like if it will work. It works. That is why we have a guarantee. You know what I mean? Because it does work if you work it and if we work it together. So, and you're not gonna be alone, which is what you mentioned. Like it's not like you're alone. Like you will have someone, in this case, you have me in the journey supporting you with anything that might come up for in the process, right? Which is really
For
fun.
sure, and it kind of goes back to your earlier questions, right? In the sense that the guarantee was really essential. That said, it was still a huge, unexpected decision to make. But going back to what we had gone through in the past years, we've gone through sort of Facebook ad marketing, people out there saying, yeah, we can get you X amount of leads or, impressions or whatever the case may be. Zero return on that. We've purchased leads that were claimed to be qualified that seem to be kind of shady, seem to be kind of like, just were ultimately not qualified. It's very little return on that. Maybe you can get a phone call, you get excited, then you find out the person is not really someone who was interested in it to begin with, and you start to question whether there were really any value to what it is you invested in. That's kind of experience we've
Wow.
had in the past. And we've also done even radio ads as well. We've done radio ads. We've even done, those sort of like those TV. If you're in like you're living in like your dentist's office or you're in your doctor's office and there's usually a TV with ads. We've even purchased ad space on things like that, and had very little return. And so we realized that online marketing or marketing in general has evolved significantly. Online is where it's at. We're in a very crowded, highly competitive industry, and that's
Hmm.
something too. How do you go out there and compete with other companies like Sun Life? They're offering the same kind of product that you have. And so that's where we realize we have to lean on existing, I guess, professionals and people that have the tools that are designed to help people crack the nut of marketing and proper qualified lead generation in the internet on online
Yeah.
marketplace. Yeah.
I love it. And now let's talk about results. Let's talk about numbers because I know some people might be thinking, okay, great, this sounds really good, but like let's talk numbers. Like let's talk about the appointments you were able to generate. Like how many appointments at the end? Because I know that, we sent you a list, like you were doing, and I love it because like in terms of Launch Legacy, you guys did all the omni channel approach, which is key for results, right? So share with us a bit of the numbers, how the phone calls went, the appointments went. I know some are still in process of because of the
Yeah.
sales cycle. But if you just want to
Yeah.
share a little bit to like for people who might be like, did this really get you appointments?
Well, I'll tell you, like once we got when we pressed the go button on sort of the framework on multi-channel approach, so there's the LinkedIn and Close and Ulink. Within a week, we were getting people who were interested in having a conversation. This is after having years of just
Yeah.
bland nothingness. So it was immediate in terms of the immediate feedback loop that we got from the framework that has been developed in terms of tailoring what's being said to the identified client that you want to reach, and it was almost like it was really magical to see sort of that immediate feedback loop.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers, I know for sure we got, I think, about at least 7 booked appointments
I
within the
remember.
first month. And this is, keep in mind, this is summertime. This is the heights of vacation time. So we actually got people who replied back saying, I'm away right now, but let's book for October. So we're still kind of looking to schedule meetings from people who responded when we first launched this system simply because they were traveling. But in terms of actual concrete numbers, based on, and I want to say that I'm helping the team. I'm like the business development person on the team to kind of get things going. But it's my husband is the lead of Launch Legacy, and then he has his team that he will also eventually want to leverage this system to be able to build even more. But when he showed me the numbers this morning, it was about 12 officially scheduled and executed discovery sessions, and of the 12,
Amazing.
about a quarter of them, possibly up to a third of them, are likely going to close. So we don't yet know exactly what it's going to end up being. But
Wow.
there's about like 3 or 4 in the pipeline that have follow-up meetings for the purposes of getting more concrete details to be able to produce illustrations, which will eventually end up in choosing which product is suitable for them.
I love it. And like, if we were to just look again, numbers, and I know people want to know these things, I know because I know sometimes it's like, it's a sales cycle, right? So you're still in your sales cycle, which is exciting. Now, like, how much is each client, I guess, worth for you in terms of a commission? Like, I think that's really important to even know because it's like, okay, three clients, potentially like your pipeline. If we were to look at the
Mhm.
value of your pipeline, that's 12 appointments you mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
what's the value of that pipeline that maybe they didn't go to second appointment, they could go in the future, but like each client is what, three, four, 5,000. Like if we just look at the value of that, and it's just a
I
couple
want
of
to
weeks.
exactly, and that's exactly it. It's about, I would say minimum three, but closer to about five.
Yeah,
And even if we were look at it in terms of those that are, looking to close with an intention to follow up with and get something concrete, we're looking at a value of maybe 15 to 20,000
it's amazing. So it's
approximation.
like 60,000 pipeline you've just built in a couple of weeks, which is not even counting because the system's still working. You're still going to get appointments. Like it's still going. You're still building it. It's like $60,000 pipeline and then $20,000 potential close. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty crazy.
amazing. That's exciting.
It's pretty
Congratulations.
crazy. Thank you. And a key part of this, to be honest with you, Sharina, is I know in the beginning it felt very intense and fast, but it's about getting clear about, your target market, your niche,
Yeah,
right? And
strategy.
Patrick and I were both kind of figuring out, okay, what do we want to focus on? Because we both come from different backgrounds in terms of professionally and so forth. Do we want to focus more on the athletics sort of fitness world, business owners, or do we want to focus on people from my world on the professional, the legal side? And I said, you know what? Let's start with the legal side. I know
I
what it's
love
like.
it.
We're living this in terms of having owning a practice, and I know what it's like. I can literally, how to frame exactly what you've seen me go through, but essentially you're speaking to your target market from a lived experience. And I think that really, and working through the process of creating
That
those
was key.
messaging, yeah, this was really key in terms of really tapping into what's true, and tapping into really the essence of the niche that you're looking to speak to. I think that's super key as well. And frankly, I've never had that experience, and neither one of us have had that experience in terms of any of the previous marketing and lead generation conversations that we've had over the years.
I love it.
So yeah, kudos
I'm
to.
excited because it's like you're more clear than ever. Like even
It
your
feels like it.
messaging, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's important, like that whole strategy work that we did, like it's key to get the results that you're getting now. So it's amazing.
The
Congratulations. I'm
automations.
so excited for you guys.
Thank you. And the automations,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like you wake up in the
Yeah.
morning, you check,
And there's like
and there are
people
people responding,
respond
and
to.
yeah, so it's automation, and it's everything is just as a system is really effective and exciting to see, and we're just, kind of at the surface of it. So we look forward
Totally.
to continuing. Yeah.
Natalie, for someone who's like looking at this video and thinking, should I do this? Should I not? Like, what would you like any piece of advice or anything that you would tell them?
Do it. And I say this genuinely simply because, okay, so again, we tried certain angles in the past without success, and after a while, you kind of start to beat your head against the board and wonder, okay, what is it? Do you have to have all these connections, and we don't have those connections per se, and even if we did, it takes a lot of time and energy that we don't have the capacity to do right now. We have three young children, school-age children. We're working and we're building this, and we did realize that we needed to have this kind of sort of marketing and sales system embedded in the company or in the business, but not really knowing how to get that done. And I strongly believe that the SLS framework can really help to serve as that additional team member that you
Mm,
want to add to your team that likely doesn't, doesn't is not interested in necessarily working in that capacity, or realizes that there are existing systems that probably can outdo them anyway, like SLS. So why not tap into that, right? And
yeah,
if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, you can calculate someone's salary, for example, which most startups don't have the capacity. Like we didn't have the capacity to pay anybody a salary. We're probably trying to get someone who'd be willing to
that's
work
the thing.
on a performance basis, and that was very difficult. Like we didn't have any success at all. So I think you can look at it, someone who's contemplating this, saying, "Oh my gosh, this is much more than we expected." I mean, we live in Canada, so we're thinking of the USD conversion as well, but it's an investment in the business, and look at it from the standpoint of it essentially being able to perform the sales and marketing aspect of your business,
For sure.
without requiring to have someone on payroll when you're in your fledgling early stages.
Amazing. Natalie, thank you so much for your time here today, for sharing this. And again, really excited for you, for your journey. I know we're just gonna like, it's just getting started, really, the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
experience.
you, Serena. I appreciate it. Glad I was here. Take care.